Our cameraman showed up, thank God, not just in the nick of time because I cut myself in the head. In my first ERV video, I introduced you to the energy recovery ventilator that I installed on the upper floor of my home last year. In that video, I went over what it is, how it works, and the difference it makes in the air quality inside. I recently purchased my second unit, 1 year to the day since we put the first unit in. And in this video, I'm actually going to be unboxing it and showing you the features. And I'm also going to show you where I'm going to install this thing. I haven't done any of the work yet at all. I've got the plan in my head and I'm going to let the camera roll and you're going to watch the real life, actual start to finish process of installing an ERV my way. I'm not an expert in this field, but a lot of it's common sense. It's basically circulating air. Air in, air out. It's not that hard. So this is a Fantech Fit 80E. You can see that right here, the Fit 80E. And this replaces the Fit 70E. We're going to open the box. Styrofoam. This is the mounting bracket. Some foam padding, installation manual, more styrofoam. And inside would be the box. And I'm going to just dump my box over there and turn this so that you can see it. There's a power cord. These come, you can actually buy this without the power cord now and hardwire it, but I have an outlet right there, so I'm going to use the power cord version. And when I turn it sideways, you'll see the 4-inch takeoffs on both sides. There's like a rubber seal on here. So when you put your 4-inch pipe over, it seals real nice. Same on this side. And one thing I'm seeing they changed is the door hinges from the bottom up. I did not know that till just now. They have this screwed shut. Interesting. So there's a screw that must hold that closed for shipping. Oh, they changed this too. Interesting. The core is different. It still has these little, two of them now. Then you can slide the core out. I'm going to try and do this without this lid hitting me in the head. Here's your core. Now, first thing I'm noticing, this core is a lot heavier than the one upstairs. And from what I read, this one has antifreeze built in. That might be why. I don't know. I'm not an expert on this. But as you see, it comes out, it slides in these little grooves here. Here's the filters. And on this model, I can actually get a higher MERV filter if I want to. I'll put the information here on that. Here's your fans. The enthalpy core. Still has the padded door, which seals tight. Yeah, so there you go. That's what it looks like. On the back side, this mounting bracket mounts on the wall. There's little rubber things on here that keep it from vibrating, and it's missing this one. Right out of the box, it's missing one. Found it in the box, and it has a little hook-shaped hole, and these little screws, and that's how you would hang it on this cleat. Inside the package is the bottom mounting brackets that would mount on the wall, like that. I'll give you some screws, I'll give you some electrical connectors for inside of here. I'm going to turn this around this way. You can get different controllers to control this. And one of my subscribers in the comments of my last video actually mentioned how you could hook this up on a smart home and have it come on and off automatically when your readings require it to for your carbon dioxide. So it comes with these little connectors if you want to use this for operation equipment like switches or whatever. High, low, and standby, which is off. Similar to upstairs, same thing. And the instructions, and that's it. All right, now I'm going to show you where I'm going to mount this. Before I show you where we're going with this, I got to move it over there. Put my tool chest back, move the truck back, get the car back in here, and then we'll do that. So just off the garage is my utility room, and this is where I'm going to mount this. So my theory here is to put it back in the corner of the utility room and pull the old stale air out from the game room level right here at this ceiling, and then supply the fresh air upstairs to the living room, pretty much over the same space where it's mounted. And behind the camera is a stairwell that goes upstairs with no door, so this airflow is continuous from upstairs to downstairs. There is no door blocking the two floors. So by pulling from here and supplying up there, it should bring that circulation right down the stairs. That's my theory, and I'm using a common sense approach here, not an education. Okay, I've taken it off of the tripod. I'm using my little handheld stick thing, and behind me you're going to see the stairwell that goes upstairs. If I turn around, the utility room's right here. Okay, I'm heading into my utility room. First, what I'm going to do is show off a few things. So when you walk in the room, first to the left, this is the garage wall. I've got the washer and dryer in here. I have my ECO power station in here where I can charge the batteries. I use these for the lawnmower, leaf blower, snow blower, you name it. And if the power goes out, this actually works like a little generator too, for a little while. Right above it is my entire internet setup back here. So I have all my internet connection up here, my cameras and all that. And what's cool about this is where I located the internet right above it. If the power goes out, I can actually unplug the entire internet setup and plug it into here. And I don't lose my internet during a storm. And then right here is a tankless water heater. This is a Rinnai gas, and it's a 200,000 BTU. You can actually run 3 full showers at the exact same time, never run out of hot water with this. I'll never go back to a tank again, never. They're amazing. But anyway, right next to it is the furnace. And then when I get on the other side of the furnace, you're going to see the other cool thing we have attached to the plumbing here, which is what makes the water heater a good investment. And right here, you're going to see I have a Puronics iGen Terminator. This is a water softener system. The salt goes in here, and then it has the beads in here that actually does whatever the hell it does. I don't know what it does. But I can tell you this, because of this system, This will last a long time. And that's critical because that's about a $2,000 water heater over there. And this is about a $6,000 water system right here. So right here is the wall that I have to work with. Basically from that back area all the way to here. And right over here is where I would vent out the right side to pull the exhaust air through this closet. There'll be a duct somewhere in here. Maybe even right here. I might be able to just put it right on the wall. Above us is a living room, and somehow I got to get up there, most likely back in this corner. I'd be supplying fresh air to the very far corner of the living room above us. So that's the two 4-inch pipes that go into the house. There's two of them. Then there's two that go outside. So one would exhaust the old air outside. And I'm actually thinking somewhere on this wall next to where the furnace vents out. Right here would be ideal. But if I vent it out here, it's basically going out where the furnace vents and where the water heater vents. To bring the fresh air in, I'm actually thinking somewhere over here because there's an old window right here that was blocked in. Okay, now we're at the front on the outside. And here you can see that same corner. Okay, so right here would be an ideal place to bring out that exhaust air. And yes, it's only about 8-10 inches off the ground, but we really don't get a lot of snow here. And if we do, I'll come out and shovel it away. It's no big deal. So the exhaust from the furnace is here. The exhaust from the ERV would be here. The dryer vent is here. And the exhaust from the water heater is here. So all the old crappy air is on this side of the house. And for that reason, I got to take the fresh air from somewhere else. And for that, I'm thinking way back here, as far back as I can go, would be good. Upstairs in the living room now, this is basically right over top of that area. This is that corner. And the furnace is over here, water softener's here, and the blank wall area would be here. And it's back in this area somewhere that I would like to bring in the fresh air in a vent down low, probably right up through the floor somewhere. So my first thing, not today, but tomorrow morning, would be remove everything that's here. So this is the area that I'm choosing to install it in. There's a recessed area here that used to be a window, and they blocked it in, and the block they used isn't as wide as the rest of the block. So it has like a 2-inch recess here. And I think this would be a good place to actually mount it, is right on this block. Instead of the original plan of a plywood backer, I can actually use the recess to save some space. Like this, sitting it right in here, like that. I've actually saved some depth, and those 4-inch ducts will come right off the side here. So I bought a couple things here. Bought 3 pieces of rigid 4-inch pipe, a bunch of these little elbows. And you spin them around until they form a 90-degree turn. And the non-crimped side, this rubber O-ring creates a nice seal when you push this on, so air can't escape around that. And I think this outer flange would be if you mounted flexible duct on here. The inner duct would go here, and the outer piece of insulation would go around this, I believe. I think that's what this is for. Something like that. Now you can see the width you need. So when you look at the total width of this, I need 32 inches. And I have about 31 to here. But that's okay because this is, if it's recessed in, it's perfect. First, I need to know which pipe is bringing the fresh air in, which one takes the fresh air out, and then which pipe pulls from the inside of the house and which pipe puts the fresh air into the house. So that's 4 pipes, 2 that go outside, 2 that are within the house. All right, so I already made one mistake in my assumptions here because I didn't read the label that's on the front or the instruction manual, but I forgot that the exterior pipes are actually on the same side and the interior pipes are on the same side. So I can't do exactly what I wanted to do. So I've had to stop the forward progress with my ERV install so that I can go back a little bit and address my other issues that are here. So because of the amount of room I need widthwise for all the pipes to come out and then reverse direction because I have to get fresh air from out over here and vent the stale air over there, but yet pull the stale air from that side of the house and then put the fresh air in this side of the house. I'm actually crisscrossing pipes. That's how I'm looking at this, this plan that I have, and some of these pipes are going to be crossing over each other. To do that, I need more width than what I have inside this little recessed area. Also, the ductwork is going to be along here, and I don't want it hanging out in the way. I want to remove this conduit that's hanging out in the way, tuck it up in the ceiling. Same with this MC cable here, Bromex cable here, this conduit. All this I want out of here so I can have the ductwork close to the wall. Reroute all this. That's going to be a whole day just to do that. All right, I feel much better now getting rid of all this. I have myself a nice blank canvas here. I'm going to do a nice smooth plywood painted white. But by mounting plywood, I can install the ERV anywhere I want easily. This is what I've chosen to use as my backer board. It's a sanded plywood. It's 3/4 of an inch thick. You can see there's no knots or anything. It's not like a BC plywood or a rough plywood. For painting it, this comes out really nice when you paint it. And I'm going to cut it to size and mount it to the wall. So I painted the backside first because things like plywood can actually warp a little bit if you don't paint both sides. So I wanted to get the backside painted. I primed it and I threw a coat of paint on it. And now I'm going to hang it on the wall. So I'm using hammer drill, regular drill, level hammer, probably 4 screws, 2-inch, and 1/4 inch oak dowel rod. But I'm going to start with this. One of my biggest dilemmas in this project is figuring out where to route all my 4-inch ducts. And it's a lot easier to do it here on the floor before I mount it to the wall. I want to make sure I have this mounted in a way that all the ducts can reach to where they're going without hitting or interfering with anything. Fresh air would come in here from outside, comes down through the core, and it comes out this pipe on the bottom, which would go upstairs to a vent in the floor. On the opposite side of the box, the motor that's here actually pulls the stale air from inside. So again, because most of the house is this way, it's got to pull from over here. That would be this pipe, and it would pull it in, cross the core, which is crossing over your fresh air, and sends it out. But I don't want to send it out over there. It has to go out this end of the building, because that's where the stale air goes. So that's this pipe down below, which causes this crazy overlapping of ductwork, which I just don't like. It doesn't fit me right. The other option is to do something similar to this right here. And I think I'm going to try that now and see how that works. I don't know why I didn't think of this the first time. This is going to work way better. I've measured it, and this duct right here will be all the way up against my cold air return in the ceiling. I will have to add an elbow over here. So these will actually cross over at some point right here. But that's way better than what I had over here. It can't come out straight here. I'll be in the dirt. I'll be in the ground out front. So I'm probably going to have to do something like this. This is more like it, and then this will be angled up and then go out right under here. So the crossover is going to be here. There is no way to do my layout without crossing ducts somehow. There's just no way. But this is more like what it's going to look like. Fresh air in, goes upstairs. Stale air from downstairs comes in, goes out. This is our top bracket. The ERV has little lugs that will slide right in here. So you just basically hang this on the wall, and then the ERV hangs in this bracket. At the bottom, there's 2 more that mount on the wall, again with the rubber feet, and then you basically drive a screw through the side into the ERV. And I'm going to actually mount it through this rubber one here and here. I need 8 inches minimum from the left side to the gas line and 7 inches minimum from the top of this cleat to the bottom of my cold air return. And we want about 8 inches from here and 7 inches down. That should be good. Here we go. I'm going to actually take these off and put a washer in there because I see it squishing the rubber a little bit too much. That should be good. I want to see how this is actually going to work out. So we have room to lift the lid, and I moved the light fixture out for this reason. And super easy access. This is about the easiest access you'll ever see an ERV mounted, right at eye level on a wall. Super, super easy. I can access everything in here, clean it out, replace the filters. So now I can see how this is going to all come together here. It has to come in, come down, angle, and go in like that. Because I'm short. That is going to be one of the harder part of this job, is putting this through this block wall. And I got to do it over there as well. So I got to do this twice, 2 big holes. So ideally I'm going to do a bunch of small holes and then chisel it out. It'll be really rough, and then I'll go back and cement it in. I'll do some mortar and some spray foam. In order to do this, I'm going to use a big hammer drill and do a series of small holes. So this is the pipe that will go through the hole, and it'll get cut. And then everything gets sealed up, attached together firmly so it can't fall apart. Spray foamed right into the block, so it should stay nice and insulated in there. There we go. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the microphone off and just do a time lapse because it's going to take a while. is the machine screw. It is flush with the wall. I want to tighten this up, but I don't want to move this, so I'm going to actually spray foam it first, let it sit up overnight. Then tomorrow I'll actually do this whole elbow system. Now on this side, I think I'm going to come out right here. So if we remember our diagram, the stale air will come in over here and into here, and out of here, loop down, go up, over, and out to this. And I think I'm probably going to cut it about here. Pull it out and cut it. We're going to feed it out this way. Ow! Hell! What the hell? Oh yeah, that's just fucking... Our cameraman showed up, thank God, not just in the nick of time, because I cut myself in the head 3 times and I'm starting to get upset and irritated. So I'm just trying to shim this up in the air so it's not angled. So all I want to do is fill the big gap in the back. Around the front edge, I actually want to mortar it, so I don't want my foam all the way out to the edge. is the next day here, and spray foam is set up. This pipe is solid. That stuff is amazing. Really is. I'm going to take this first section apart. And this is the first one I'm going to work on today. I'm going to trim off my spray foam, put the fittings back in, tape them all up so that they're secure, and insulate this because it comes from outside. This is the one that will sweat and drip water because it'll be bringing in cold air in the winter into this warm space. So the tool I'm going to use is my little, I forget what they call these. I think they call them a Japanese saw or something. And I think I'm going to just smear some caulking in here and throw some paint on it because I don't want to paint it after I get the insulation on. I'm going to use some latex caulking, and I just want to fill all these gaps. I actually knocked the block loose with all my jackhammering too, so. Changed the vents. This is a much better vent, has way more airflow through it. And I actually tested it on the ERV compared to the first one I have, and you can feel the airflow way better here. This is actually the same style we put on the first ERV a year ago. Yep, I'm gonna silicone the heck out of this, and I'm using a window and door clear Supreme silicone. So the next step that I want to do is actually take the fresh air flow and attach the ductwork and take it up to the living room where it's going to be put out. And the first thing I'm going to use is, this is a 4x10 register boot. So when you're walking on your floor, this is what you see on the floor. And then of course the 4-inch ductwork connects right to it and comes over to the ERV. What goes inside is kind of cool. This is a 4x10 floor vent, and these are kind of cool. This inset area, you would actually cut a piece of your flooring and put it in there. The little gap here is where the air actually comes through. So this is a fish tape, and I already have a hole. I'm pushing it up through the hole. So that is now poking up through my carpet upstairs. I can use that as a reference to measure where I want to cut this. Somewhere around right here is where we're going to mount the box. And I'm actually going to bring the ductwork through here and under this gas line and then down to the ERV. I want to keep this area clear. Could bring the ductwork down here obnoxiously like some people would. A contractor would do it that way. I actually want this tight, as close to the wall as I can. And the reason is I want to access my salt right here for my water softener. I don't want this hitting me in the head for the rest of my life. That's why I have to do it my way. Now I'll go upstairs and we'll cut the floor for this box. now you can actually see the full layout of where everything's going to go. I have one more to go, and this one is next. My final step of the ductwork process would be to mount this grill on the inside of the finished basement side here. It's plastic, has a cover that removes real easy, and it has these little shutters you can close manually if you want to limit your flow. Still the 4-inch, so it mounts right to the 4-inch piping that I'm using. ERV is on the other side of this closet. So my goal would be to put it here. I will have to notch the door trim. Same 4-inch piping, so I'll be using a 4 1/4 inch hole saw. It'll come out here, and then I'm going to shoot straight over this shelf and straight into the room. It almost lines up perfectly where the ERV is right now. And I'm aiming for about here. There's got to be framing around here somewhere. All I'm hoping is I don't hit it right now, so. I got lucky, there's nothing there. So fresh air is brought in, goes down through the core, and if you forget, let's just show you what that looks like. Comes in through here on an angle, down, goes out this way. The stale air inside is being pulled in this way, through here, on an angle, down, and sent out through this pipe and outside. And that is how this ERV works. I love how quiet this is. I mean, I'm whispering. I'm almost whispering. And I'm standing next to it. It's that quiet. In fact, the furnace just kicked on. So if you hear something running, it's the furnace, which is 4 feet away. These are so nice. I don't know if you notice how much louder that is. So with the ERV installed, the ductwork installed, the electrical outlet installed, it's up and running. There's one more step, And you can run it continuously like I'm doing right now. You can also manually turn it on and off at the ERV. You can run it on high, you can run it on low. But they also sell the different controls for it. And this is the one I bought. It's ECO Touch. It's a programmable. I don't know what all it does, but I'm going to open it up. And it is a touch screen. And I think I'm going to mount it right here. Have to be tomorrow because I have no wiring, and this requires wires back to the ERV. Okay, I just got back from the store. I had to go get some thermostat wire. And this is where I mounted the wall control. And there's 4 terminals on the back. I already have my hole in the wall all the way through to the laundry room side. So I'm going to mount the wire, run it through there, attach it to the unit. And hopefully that makes this quieter, which leads me to my next problem today. I was up at 4 a.m. thinking about how loud this thing is. And I believe it's loud because of all the piping and the elbows, and it's a rigid pipe. I didn't use any sound attenuators. I didn't use any flex duct. I did everything that would amplify the noise. It's not loud upstairs. It's only loud down here. And it sounds like a dryer vent. Have you ever stood outside your dryer vent outside? That's how loud it is. It's just too much for this game room down here for a quiet room. So I have a couple options. One is I have that crazy S-shaped ductwork going on for down here, which I couldn't get around. But if I eliminate some of that in there and maybe just let it pull from inside the utility room, I won't hear it out here. I don't know what else I can do. I don't really want to put flex duct up or anything else. I want to keep the straight pipes, the rigid pipes. So what I'm going to do is actually try this first. Once I hook this up, see if this will run at a slightly lower speed and make that quiet enough to live with. Let's see. This is 18 gauge wire. This is 7 wire. They didn't have 4 wire, but this controller requires 4 wires. Yellow, blue, black, green, orange, white, and red. And the controller that I bought has 4 terminals here, and they labeled them D plus, A, B, and then a down arrow. That's the 4 icons. D plus, A, B, down arrow. And the terminals that plug into the ERV, there's 2 blocks that you use. One block has the D plus on it. The other block has the B, the A, and the down arrow. Whatever color I use on here, I have to do the same thing here. I think I'm going to use white, I'll use yellow, a green, and a red. I'm going to cut off these and just strip them down. The down arrow, we're going to say that that is the green. And crank it down. All right, B. I'm going to go with the red under the B. The next is A. I use yellow. And then the final one is D plus. So I'm going to take a picture. So we're going to start with the down arrow is green and the screw terminals are on top. A is yellow. A is right next to it. B is red. And that's the only 3 on this block. And the white goes to D plus right here. Now before I plug this in, I'm actually going to unplug the ERV. This block first, and this block second. So this power switch has high, low, standby. I can't find anything that tells me what standby is for. I think it just means off. It's plugged in, it's on low, and the panel is lit up and it's doing something here. All right, it is on basically fresh air when it's coming in and out the other side. That's what it's on right now. It's on ECO, which is auto. Over here is a fan speed. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and turn that switch to high and see if that changes. I don't really notice a difference. And that's on low. We can change it from ECO. It shows our humidity, 40%. There's another bar there, but it won't go to it. So the fan is really a low and high speed still. Doesn't matter what switch setting you have on the ERV. So this tells me in order to quiet this thing down, I'm going to have to do what I would call option 2, which is on my ductwork. This did not quiet it. When I put this all the way to the low speed, it's just the same as what low was already. Yeah. All right, everything is done on my ERV. It's working great. My CO2 levels have dropped and leveled off really well upstairs, so I know it's doing its job. So what's the problem? The problem is the vent in the game room is a little loud. So went back to the instructions, and right here, install the ducts to the product, and it says for quiet operation, use the correct sound attenuation techniques when you install the product. Step 1, move a 12-inch segment of insulated flexible duct onto the applicable duct collar. But I like the rigid ductwork, the way it looks. I like how it's up, easy to clean, there's nothing sagging. If I ever have a mouse, he's not going to get in here. It's self-supporting, takes up just 4 inches. And I thought, well, maybe I should just do it. So I did it. I went out, I bought 25 feet of the insulated 4-inch duct. I don't need 25 feet here. I probably need 1 foot, maybe 6 or 7 feet if I replace all of this. And again, I'm gambling here that the noise is coming from this section of pipe and not this section. My hunch is my noise is coming from here to here. And if I change this to the flex duct, I should fix my problem. It kills me that I ended up buying the thing I didn't want to buy. Oh my God. This is probably going to fix it. I just have this funny feeling that this will fix it. And this is nothing but flexible dryer vent. That's all it is. Flexible, cheap, thin dryer vent with insulation. I don't need the insulation. That is exactly what I needed to do. I can't believe it. But now I can't see. You have to like shove it in here. It's not exactly the look I wanted. That's why I didn't want to do this. I don't like this, just like that. I can't believe how quiet it is. That's how it's supposed to be. I have finished everything over here. I'm going to talk at a very light whisper. You should be able to hear me, and I am just whispering. And that's how quiet this is now. It's nearly silent. And yet it's sucking great. The flex duct works. Well, that finishes the installation part of this video. The installation is complete. The unit is very quiet, and all in all, I think these Fantech series are really nice units. They're really made well. Here I am 3.5 months later. The ERV's been running ever since I finished it. That was October 24th, and we're now into almost mid-January, and it took this much time for me to edit this video. But anyway, as I close this video out, so I'm going to show you the results on a graph generated from our RNet4 air quality device that I showed you on the last video. All in all, this thing works really nice. It's quiet. The control pad out here, I'll show you how that works. I've not had any condensation issues whatsoever. I've not had any issues with snow outside. I noticed when we had like 7 inches of snow one night, the heat that's being pulled out from the gas furnace vent, it melts that snow away. So there's no issues with snow out there. This one, however, I did catch one leaf in the vent cover because it's so close to the ground. And honestly, a little piece of chicken screen around there would probably fix that. Just make a little box with chicken coop wire or something, and that would keep the big leaves from sticking to the front of the vent. I just checked. The filters there's a little bit of dust in there, not too much. A couple little dust particles in there. It's not too bad, actually. I can show you. There's just a little bit of dirt laying here. Now that's coming in from outside, so that could be from blowing leaves around. And mind you, this is 3 months of almost continuous use, and you can see how dirty that filter is already. That needs to be cleaned. And that's actually, funny thing is, that's the air from inside the house. The air from outside is cleaner. That's a little bit embarrassing. But actually there's a reason for that. There is a point in late December where I was doing some projects in the garage right next door here. And that's actually an upcoming video, and you'll see what that was. And during that process, I actually forgot to turn this off. So I had the door open, I had the gas heater on in the garage. So I had sawdust coming in the room, being pulled into this. And I also had my readings were just through the roof because that gas heater out there is not vented. When I caught it, I shut this down, but I kept running the gas heater. So you'll see later when I go over the graph how bad the air quality gets with a gas appliance running that's not vented and you don't have one of these. So now I'm going to go over all the readings over the past 3 months, and that'll actually show you what this does and how it benefits your house. My RNet4 readings kind of go like this: parts per million of carbon dioxide. And anything that's in the green is considered healthy. So anything below 1,000 parts per million is considered healthy. Yellow in the middle, they say that's unhealthy. And then the red they would consider dangerous, which I don't know why they call it dangerous. It's not good for you, but it's not going to kill you. It's just not good for you, basically, is what the red is. Outdoor air here on planet Earth is a 400, or roughly 400 or just above. As you can see in this particular graph that I'm showing you, this is January 5th through January 13th. It's all in the green, between 600 and 900. So the high points on this graph are the evenings when I'm home. The low points would be during the day when I'm not home. But within each one of those days, you can see smaller ups and downs. And all of those ups and downs are the furnace cycling on and off. Now on the second slide, this is really neat because this shows you the before and after of installing this Fantech Fit 80E. So right down the middle, you see a line. That's the day I turned it on. And what's really neat about this is prior to that, to the left, you'll see all the orange peaks. And you'll see how it crept up to 1,200 roughly on average. That's what was going on down here. Every night, carbon dioxide levels would go up. And then during the day when I wasn't here, they would naturally fall. This is without an ERV operating in the house. Now you'll see that one tall spike over 2000. That is using the oven. October 24th, where I turned it on, everything to the right, you're going to notice a change. All those orange peaks are damn near gone. If you look closely, you can see a general trend down. All the green lines have shifted down a little bit. As we get further on, those numbers even get better because you're exchanging all the air in the house, all the cavities, all the studs, all the walls. Everything in the house is getting exchanged. Over time, it gets better. And on the next slide, you can just see the consistency of this thing, staying right at 500 to 900, and that is an ERV at work. So I know that was a lot of information, but you can see that the readings really don't lie. You want to be in the green, you want to be below 1,000, and outdoor air starts around 400 or so and above. And I'm averaging 500 to 700 pretty much all day, unless I'm doing something stupid in the house. And you can't get that without one of these, unless you just have your windows open. And up here in Pittsburgh, you can't open your windows in the middle of January. You'll freeze yourself out. So the genius of this whole system is it's like opening all your windows in the middle of winter, but you're not losing your heat. It's like opening all your windows in the middle of summer, but you're not bringing the humidity in and you're not losing your air conditioning. That's what these things are for. So if that's what you want, if you want to get that fresh air feeling all year round without losing your energy, you want an energy recovery ventilator. So once again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it.